What do these two things have in common? Car and the reel.
What are you doing, man? Are we gonna kick a beat or what?
We're gonna kick the beat. We're gonna kick the hill beat.
Well, a lot of people are actually going to say nothing, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. This reel and the car both have internal parts that need attention, that need care, lubrication, and maintenance. For example, you change the oil on your car. That's the one thing that people tell you to do. If nothing else, change the oil. There's a plethora of other things you've got to do. On the reel, you got to oil the bearings. You got to grease up the gears and the worm drive, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that the right way in this video. So thank you so much for clicking on it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, maybe you learn a thing or two. Let's go somewhere where it's a little bit warmer. It's freezing out here, and I'll show you just exactly how to do that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I guess we'll start off with some of the things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need yourself some Q-tips and some isopropyl alcohol, which I do not have isopropyl alcohol, and the reason you want to use that is because when you dab that cotton swab in there and start cleaning your reel with it, it takes off that dirt and that grime a lot easier than just a dry Q-tip. Some very small screwdrivers, because these screws are tiny right there, so I'm talking tiny screwdrivers, little guys. You're gonna need some real oil, and you're gonna need some real grease. Now, the real grease and the real oil, they do make real grease and oil for bait casters specifically and for spinning reels specifically. Whether or not you have to use that, I don't think you do. I think grease is grease and oil is oil, as long as you're using oil and grease that are meant for fishing reels. If you have one of these, if you're lucky enough to have one of these, it's a little tool to get the that nut off in the middle. It also has a little flat part that acts as a flat blade screwdriver. If not, a little socket or one of these will get that off in a jiffy. The reel I'm going to be breaking completely down to the gears and showing you how to do that is this guy right here. This is just Bass Pro Extreme. It's like 50 bucks. And as you can hear, she's loose. The reason I'm starting off with this one is because this is a lower end bait caster. A lot of people actually have lower end bait casters and they don't have gear lube ports. And what that is, as I'll show you on a little bit of a higher end bait caster, is that guy right there. That little square cutout with the screw on the end, you unscrew that, it opens up that door and you put the grease right inside of there, spin the handle so that it gets worked around, and then you close that up and you're done with the grease part. I'll show you on another brand of a reel. This is an Abu, this is a Luz. The Luz has it too, well, this one does not. So, for those reels that do not have a gear lube port, like I said, you're gonna have to strip her down. So usually it's pretty straightforward. On this bait caster here, and a lot of them will be very, very similar. Spot for a screw there, and then up here. And like I said, all three of those screws are already missing, which makes my job easier. You got a couple more screws to take off before you can get this off, but so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you where the bearings are so we can drop some oil on that, and we'll break this thing apart to get down to the gears. Most simple bearing to oil, more than likely, is going to be this guy here. All you do is you just unscrew that. There's actually a bearing under there that connects to the other side of the spool. There is a bearing all up in there, down in there. And so all you're gonna do, like I said, you're gonna take your oil. You don't need a lot of it. One drop will do, trust me. In there. And you close that bad boy up. That bearing is oiled and ready to rock and roll. You're gonna have to take the side plate off a little. You know, some reels are a little different. Typically Bass Pro does this with their reels, is where you press down on it. On the Bass Pro logo there, it's spring loaded. You press down on it and you twist the side plate down, and then you can pull it off. You've got a bearing in here that we're gonna drop one little drop of oil on. And you're gonna take your spool out, because you've got another bearing that sits right on the spool shaft there, and you're just going to drop another drop on there. Some people like oiling this shaft up or greasing this shaft up. To each his own. This has still got some grease on it, so I'm gonna leave it. You gotta unscrew that screw there that holds that nut on. Okay, make sure you don't lose that. Now this little plate's gonna fall off. That guy there, that just locks the nut in place so it doesn't spin, so that nut comes off. Set that aside. Handle pops off. You've got a little piece of metal here. Now we're down to bare bone. Now we're looking like a skeleton, huh? There's not much reel left in there. Now, we've got 2 more screws we've got to take off to get this side plate off. That one there, and we've got that one in there. Okay, that screw, and then like I said, that screw right up in there, and boom. What we're gonna do too, which I forgot to mention, is we're actually gonna back down all the way off of the drag, and that will unscrew it basically and make it come off. There we go. Oh, I pulled it all the way off. All right, well, side plate's off. As you can see, she's well, she's dirty. Let me see if I can get you a closer look on it. As you see, she is pretty damn dusty inside, corrosion, so it's a good thing that we took this out. This looks like a brass gear, so that's kind of cool. I mean, you can just see it right there that it's just, I mean, it's nasty, it's dirty. We had a couple dirty Q-tips off of this bad boy, as you guys can see. And all we did is grease the main gear, the whatever you call this gear, the smaller one, and then the plastic one. So we just ran some grease around there. We used our fingers to work it in. Your fingers are like your best tool, so we used our fingers to work it in, and then we spun it so that it, you know, really got worked in real good. Kind of worked it around like that. We even got those plastic ones that were in there, and then we just spun her, you know. Now that she's all clean and that she's all lubed up, oiled up, greased up, ready to go, the only thing I didn't grease is the worm gear, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But I'm gonna put her back together real quick. And basically, I mean, just follow the steps you did in reverse. Basically, that's all it is. Shit, are you serious? That guy that the line guide slides back and forth on, as you see, that needs grease. Some people like putting oil there, some people like putting grease. I like putting grease. Before we do so, we're gonna go ahead and take a fresh cotton swab and just clean her out. You know, that's what we're doing. We're just gonna wipe her down. Just like that. And we're just gonna unwind it. Yes, the reel sounds like garbage because it is, shit, 10 years old maybe. I mean, it's an old reel. The Bass Pro Extremes, they don't look like this anymore, trust me. She's a little worse for the wear, and like I said, she's never been taken care of. That's why she's noisy. If you don't want them noisy like this, take care of your reels. Every other reel I have is taken care of. All my mid to high dollar stuff, if you have a mid to higher end baitcaster, you have the luxury of having this gear port. And how you use it, all you're doing is unscrewing that, and as you see, that door pops open. And that comes out. And as you might or might not be able to see, as you guys can see, gears. That's what we just took the whole reel apart to get to. Pouring a little bit in there, putzing a little bit of grease in there. Now she's greased. It's as simple as that. You put the door back on, you're done. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something new, hit that like button and show some support. I appreciate it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification right on the side of it so that you are notified every time I upload. Let me know if you guys want to see some salmon fishing. That means lakefront fishing. That means salmon, brown trout, stuff like that. So if you guys would like to see that, I know those videos do pretty good, or they used to do pretty good. Let me know, and I'll see if I can't get some of those videos out. It's been forever since I've salmon fished, so, and we'll see you later.